2015, I owned a little business in Kansas City, Missouri. It was a spa. And there was what we called a new vitalization going on within that community. We had a transit in our new area. I had a lot of stress in my life. I lost a lot of customers. They couldn't get through the door of my space. However, out of all of that, I didn't know that colon cancer was lying dormant in my body without getting tested. At the time, when you're a small business owner, it's pretty tough having insurance. Some of us are against Obamacare at the time, but I was able to obtain insurance through that. I decided to go ahead and have a colonoscopy and everything else that I needed because I was turning 50, the big 50, and did that and thought everything was fine. You get the phone call to come back in because the results came back from the test and we need to have a discussion. They said, Gigi, we just want to take a biopsy. They didn't say exactly what it was. And they did that. And the biopsy results came back and it was colon cancer. When I asked about the stage, they said I was stage 4 and where it was positioned that it was growing quite rapidly. I was a happy-go-lucky person and I was always happy, but to hear something like that, I went into the state of sadness, depression, loss, suffering. How am I going to tell my children? How am I going to tell my family this? I thought I was healthy. I thought I was eating healthy. I thought I was this person that ate some vegetables. That was on my plate. What I thought health was, now I know what health is. Getting that and asking the doctor, what do you think that caused that? He said possibly stress. He asked questions about my parents, if they had cancer or anything else. But no, it didn't run in my family. And that's the thing. It was just me. I'm one of those people that like keeping things to myself, especially something this horrific. I thought I was healthy. I thought I was eating, well, the SAD diet at the time, the American Standard Diet. I followed that pyramid 100%. And here I am with cancer. At that time, I had planned to have surgery. We all worked it out, chemotherapy, everything. I decided to just pray and meditate. At that time, I wasn't a real 100% meditator or someone who prayed all the time. I just felt within my soul, something else was calling me, and it wasn't that. And then having that spirit within ourselves that says, what if you die? I felt I needed to do something more. I felt God leading me on this journey. There was nothing else. I couldn't do that by myself. My mindset wasn't there to create something. That's to say, try something else, learn something else, do something else. I decided to start Googling ways of healing cancer. It was a bunch of ridiculousness on YouTube, which is scary. I saw people with pineapples saying pineapples can cure cancer. And they were juicing pineapples and doing all sorts of things. And it was beets and it was all sorts. They were all over the place. But it was nothing 100% solid until the China study comes on. The study that Dr. Colin Campbell did back in the 70s, they talked about how you can turn cancer on and off by the choices that we make in food. I said food, but there was no instruction. There was no way. I'm going, okay, so how do I do it? They talked about plant food, but you're talking about an elementary person that doesn't know what is plant food. I didn't know, but I kept playing that over and over and over again so that it would resonate with me, and I finally got it. It took me about 10 days of watching that video over and over and over. Hippocrates Health Institute came on, Brian Clement, and he talked to the same thing Dr. Colin Campbell talked about, but they talked about how they help you heal yourself, not them. We have to do the work. We have to be mentally ready to do it and open to what is out there for us to change. It's 100% raw foods diet. It's a lifestyle change. Everything had to go, everything. Once I contacted them and I was ready, I went there and I spent 3 weeks learning all that I could, sprouting, raw food. Still, the food was so delicious. But I tell you what, I thought the menu was going to change like the second day. I was also receiving high doses of vitamin C every 4 days. God resides in us and how powerful we are once we give it what it needs. Once we give our bodies what it needs, it's amazing what it would do. I had donuts and different things before. I had no idea the amount of sugar in these foods. Even if you go to smoothie places to get smoothies, they put banana and other things in there, but some of them add sweeteners so that we can enjoy it because they know that's what we want. I knew that I was helping my body heal itself, and that's what the body was doing, recovering. It was going through a recovery stage, and that's what it was doing. It had all of the self-defense mechanisms saying, okay, what do I need to do for Gigi? What do you need? What do you need? And I did have a fever, and that was great. And we know the importance of having a fever when we're talking about removing toxins from the body. It was a dramatic change for me. I had no idea that this world existed in 2015. I had to stay on this journey for 2.5 years, and that was eating a raw foods diet. I had to purchase a juicer, a dehydrator for my food, and just setting everything up, getting rid of the things in my home. Before that, I was eating meat, and we're not even going to talk how much of it. The fried chicken and the baked chicken and the fried fish and everything else, and ice cream. I had to get rid of every single thing. But within 3 weeks, I didn't want it anymore anyway, because how I felt. I felt so great. I was strong. I was working out for that entire 3 weeks, 21 days. My entire life's changed, and I learned about meditation, infusion therapy, and I was journaling. My entire life changed, and I was so grateful for that. When you on that journey and you come back from somewhere like I did, you're going to have to lose people. Some of your friends, you have to get rid of them as well because they don't understand it, but they love you and they want to support you. But I had friends that were saying, why would you put your family through this, that you have cancer and you want to heal naturally? What is that? Why are you doing that to everybody that love you? You could die. If you're in a positive state and you can believe that you can do something and you have these people around you that love you, but they're in a different mindset, bringing you out of the strength that this journey that you're on. You have your own personal journey. It's not about them. It's about yourself. So I had to cut ties with certain friends and family members until I was ready to speak with them again or interact with them again, because this journey was my very own. And I believe that not only could I heal myself naturally, I believe that, but also I was ready to love myself again. I was ready to support myself and strengthen my entire family through what I was doing. And if I couldn't do it, of course, surgery was the next option. But this made me feel so good. Hearing what the doctor said, I felt so sick. I've never felt so sick in my life. But after this transformation, I felt wonderful. My entire life changed. It took about 6 months or so. I went back 6 months later. I went to 2 doctors at the time when I had my colonoscopy, but the first one to get a second opinion. So when I went back, he said, I can see the dye, but I don't see the tumor. So the dye was where the tumor was 6 months later. He said, well, what happened? Did you have the surgery? I said, no, I did not. I didn't want to share because I was in a different frame of mind of believing I could do it. I didn't want any negativity thrown at me. I didn't want him to say, well, that can happen. He said, well, what we need to do is monitor you because something's happening. We want you to come. They had me coming in every 3 months. I did it twice for a colonoscopy. And then I decided to call back to Hippocrates and say, is that normal? Should I be doing that? They said, oh my God, that's too dangerous. If anything, you should wait a year, then go back and see what's happening. The colon wall is so thin, they can rupture it. No one should get a colonoscopy every 3 months. It's too dangerous. I decided not to do it anymore because I felt the same way. That's why I asked for that second and third opinion. And here we are. Stayed the course, meaning raw foods, for roughly 2.5 years. And now there's no cancer in my body at all. Everything is up to us, what we decide to do with our lives, what we decide to do with our health. And it can be done. Food does heal. It's not too late to start on this lifestyle because it's going to only improve your life. Your entire life would change. My entire life changed. And believe me, I was one of those people you talk about, hey, meat eating and my cheese and my milk and all of that. I thought I was healthy, but I was the most unhealthiest person I know. Now, when I look back at it, even my mind was blurry. I couldn't function. I had a lot of stress in my life. And if I can change my life, you can too.